now at 6.
You kind of had to just run for your life.
Hear from residents, some who had to jump out of windows as their homes went up in flames.
Plus, body cam footage sheds light on how a man died while Portland police arrested him.
Was there an opportunity for them to be able to reposition him or not?
Investigators walk us through the case so far.
I will not stop fighting until they were released and reunited with their community.
And how an Oregon congresswoman is demanding answers after a Portland family vanished into federal custody at the Canadian border. First at 6, residents run to escape a massive fire at an East Portland apartment complex, one that left at least 2 people injured and 1 person briefly detained. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. Several people are without a home this evening, and we have learned at least 6 units were destroyed. Let's go out to our Devin Haskins at the complex. Devin, what do we know about injuries?
Yeah, Portland Fire telling us that at least 2 people were taken to the hospital, both of them suffering burns. One of them suffered a broken ankle after jumping out of the window. We also spoke with another resident that lives here that says he was burned, suffering minor burns as he ran from the flames. With the sounds of sirens in the near distance, several apartment units along East Burnside go up in flames.
It was just a wild scene.
David Richards lives in the back of the complex and says he woke up to someone yelling fire and then heard glass breaking out his open window.
You kind of had to just run for your life.
And that's what he says he did. After grabbing what he could, he ran.
Trying to run past the flames, I got a little bit scalded here on my arm and on my neck.
He says his apartment was saved and that he's okay physically, but also shaken up.
It was the hottest I've ever experienced. It was an inferno. It was really scary.
6 of the 19 units here were destroyed in the fire. The landlord of the building tells us that 12 people are now without a home.
This went to a 4th alarm just to make sure we had enough personnel on scene.
Portland Fire says 8 people had to be rescued and that 2 were taken to the hospital.
They jumped from a window, one of them, so has a fractured or broken ankle, along with a partial thickness burn on the leg. So that's going to be a little bit of a recovery.
Portland Fire investigators initially detained 1 person for questioning, but then released them. Residents think the fire was intentional.
I'm just trying to figure out what would compel somebody to do something like this. It was just total disregard of life. We got people with families here.
And as those that live here are left wondering why, they're also left with the marks of what happened. It's important to note that Portland Fire has not said what started this fire, and they have not said whether or not it was intentional or accidental. Back to you.
Described as an inferno. So fortunate no one died. Devin Haskins reporting. Thank you, Devin. Meantime, in Salem, a fire destroyed an office building today. It happened around 11:30 this morning near Beverly Avenue and Lancaster Drive, a few blocks from the McKay High School. Fortunately, there are no reported injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Developing this evening, we're getting a look at newly released body cam video that raises questions about how a man died while being arrested by Portland police.
So this video shows the man being held face down and handcuffed for 4 minutes as he struggles to breathe. A warning, parts of this are disturbing and graphic. Kyle Aboshi is live at Central Precinct downtown. Kyle, you spoke with the police chief today. What did you learn?
Portland's police chief walked us through this incident moment by moment and provided body cam footage to help explain. But the question remains, why was the man restrained face down for 4 minutes?
The video begins with Portland police officers responding to a welfare check. On June 27th, they've been called to a North Portland apartment. Witnesses reported a man acting erratically, flooding his apartment with water and hanging knives outside the window. Shortly after arriving on scene, officers tried to calm 52-year-old Damon Lamar Johnson. After about 4 minutes, officers tried to take Johnson into custody on a mental health-related police officer hold.
Don't resist or force or use against you, do you understand? Hey, stop, okay.
Okay, all right.
That's fine, yeah, take a bite.
The video shows Johnson resist and struggle with 3 officers. At 10:31, police got him into handcuffs.
There we go.
Johnson would remain in the same position, face down in handcuffs. At least one officer restricted his movement.
Just take a breath. Breathe. 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 You're okay. Breathe.
At 10:35, officers questioned whether he was breathing. Johnson had been restrained in the same position for 4 minutes.
Is he breathing? Damon? Damon? Hey. Damon? Hey, where are the paramedics at? Put him in recovery. Hey, turn him on his side.
Medics arrived and provided CPR before Johnson was transported to the hospital where he died. The video appears to mirror a pattern of in-custody deaths where a person is in the prone position, lying on their stomach face down while being handcuffed. In 2022, our affiliate station in Denver documented 132 prone restraint deaths across the country, costing taxpayers millions of dollars in wrongful death settlements and verdicts.
And that, of course, raises more questions about this case here.
Yeah, so Kyle, what's the chief saying about the way the man appears to have been restrained?
Yeah, so at that press conference late this afternoon, I asked Portland Police Chief Bob Day about prone restraint and whether officers should have moved the man on his side earlier. Here's what he had to say.
So, obviously we do teach the recovery position. We do talk about medical care and making sure that they're, getting proper medical care. It would be speculative for me to say whether or not there was a time or a place for him to be put in the recovery position prior than what's indicated at the end of it.
One thing that's very important to note, the medical examiner is still investigating. So far, there's no official cause or manner of death.
Kyle Laboshi reporting live downtown. Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, to a weather impact alert now as we track what looks like extreme heat moving in next week.
Yeah, right now at this point, 87 degrees in downtown Portland on this Friday evening as we head into what could be another beautiful July weekend. Celine Stevens in for Matt now with your first forecast. Celine, this summer weather really kicking in now.
Christine, definitely. And you know what? It will be a nice weekend. It will be a hot one, though, so something to keep in mind, especially on Sunday. But right now, like you said, looks great out there. Nice and sunny skies. We're sitting at 87 degrees, a little bit breezy. Those winds moving at 14 miles per hour at the moment. But taking a look at temperatures across the map, seeing temperatures still in the upper 80s in Hillsborough, 90 degrees in Troutdale, pretty warm in certain areas, 89 in Aurora. Along the coast, we're looking at 50s and 60s, much cooler there, 55 in Newport and 63 degrees in Tillamook. But those temperatures continue to rise as we get into tomorrow, and even today was warmer than this time yesterday. Right now we're 9 degrees warmer than we were this time on Thursday, 8 degrees in Vancouver, 12 degrees warmer in Hillsborough, and along the coast it's actually cooled down compared to yesterday, 7 degrees cooler in Newport than this time yesterday. But tomorrow we sort of plateau. We see similar temperatures to what we saw today, and then after that we get to the 90s by Sunday, back down to the 80s Monday. But then after that we see yet another change, and that's when we have our weather impact alert. We get to see Wednesday, Thursday, we're under that alert. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, a potential to hit 100. We want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves because we're going to be seeing pretty extreme heat. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Back to you.
Appreciate you keeping tabs on the temps. Thank you, Celine.
Caught on camera in tonight's headlines, a bizarre case in Columbia County where a man has been arrested after authorities say he tried to break in to jail after getting released from a DUI detox. Police say the man was recorded on video here repeatedly kicking the front door of the jail's lobby and then shattering the glass. St. Helens police quickly arrested him again. He is now back in jail and charged with felony criminal mischief.
For the first time this year, mosquitoes carrying West Nile virus have been found in Oregon. 3 mosquito pools in Malheur County tested positive. Most people who contract West Nile won't get sick, but some may experience flu-like symptoms like fever and headaches. If that happens, get medical help right away. To stay safe, use bug spray, cover up, and try to avoid being out at dawn or dusk when mosquitoes are most active.
And Homeland Security says ICE agents, including in Portland, are getting doxxed. Secretary Kristi Noem says officers are facing a nearly 700% increase in what she calls assaults across the country. She specifically mentioned protests and some criminal activity outside the South Portland ICE facility. The secretary also said 2 groups in Portland have been publishing names, pictures, and addresses of ICE officers on the web. Others have allegedly been posting flyers in the officers' neighborhoods. Now pledged to prosecute those who dox federal agents.
New at 6, a Portland mother and her 4 children have been in federal custody for nearly 2 weeks.
And that sparked outrage from Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter and other local advocates. Now, details here are a bit murky, but according to Dexter, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, detained the family in late June at Peace Arch Park. It spans the border with Canada at the very end of I-5. Dexter says it took her days to track them down to a facility in Ferndale. It's a couple of towns south. She says the children are U.S. citizens and the family has not been allowed to speak with a lawyer.
CBP took them to an undisclosed location, kept them detained in a facility not designed to hold families, certainly not children, for weeks. Trump said he would go after the worst of the worst. But what his immigration machine is doing instead is abducting Oregonians without cause.
Well, a CBP spokesperson says the woman is accused of trying to smuggle illegal aliens, their words, into the U.S. They say the mother requested her children stay with her during detention. This evening, we also spoke with a friend of the family. We'll have a full report tonight on KGW News at 11. Meanwhile, Multnomah County has joined a growing list of local governments suing the Trump administration over grant restrictions. Some might call them threats if it doesn't adopt certain policies, particularly around DEI.
John Adams is live at the county building in southeast Portland. John, how much money are we talking about here?
Yeah, Christine and David, just to provide a little bit of context, there was $126 million in the last Multnomah County fiscal year budget from the federal government. That fiscal year ended on June 30th. Now, I spoke with a director with the health department here in Multnomah County. They told me it could be devastating to certain programs if federal funding is lost.
Since he took office for a second term in January, President Trump has moved swiftly to implement his policies, which include crackdowns on DEI programs, immigration, and certain health programs. The administration has also attempted to strong-arm local governments by threatening to withhold federal funding if these policies aren't followed. In Multnomah County, federal dollars help fund numerous health department programs.
We are very panicked. We're very concerned. Staff are very, very nervous.
Services related to HIV/AIDS, school-based early childhood and mental health services, and addiction medicine and outreach are just some of the department programs that would be impacted if federal funds are lost. To protect that funding, the county has now joined dozens of other local governments in suing the administration.
The federal government can't use federal dollars to coerce local governments into doing just exactly what they want.
The Public Rights Project is working with Multnomah County and the city of Portland to fight the funding threats in court. CEO Jill Habig argues the Trump administration is illegally blocking money already approved by Congress.
This is taxpayer money, right? This is money that residents of Multnomah County, citizens across the country have paid already to the federal government. It is owed back to communities.
No matter the outcome, the health department remains committed to providing services to county residents.
We remain committed and focused on protecting, promoting, and ensuring the health of the people of Multnomah County. And for all the available resources that we have available, we will certainly leverage that to do so.
And County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson also weighing in, releasing a statement saying the county can't stand by and let the Trump administration shred local safety nets here in Multnomah County for the Trump administration's own political gain. Christine and David, back to you.